Hi friends, uh, in this video we are going to discuss about the operations on internal table, how to read the data from internal table, how to read the data from a particular location of the internal table or a particular row of the internal table, how to use the offsets. For example, we have a date, month and year, so you just want to read the year from that, so how to do that, how to exit from the loop at a particular condition, what is the meaning of continue, what is a field symbol, how to read the length of a table, which means how many records are there in the table, internal table, then how to insert, delete, append and modify the data in an internal table. So these are few of the things which we are going to discuss today in this video, and then this will also help you to play around in terms of designing a more complex report. So it could be like classical interactive or an ALV report, but then it will help you to deal with a complex scenario wherein you need to do a lot of things. So, so this is something we are going to discuss today. And then slowly we will move towards other topics. So every day I think of something and then I end up discussing something else, but then we have too many things here. Always everything is easy, but then since it's too much, then it will take some time to cover everything. But yeah, everything is easy here. And then the other thing which you'll observe here is that whatever syntax we have in ABAP, so it's like pretty simple English. I mean, delete something, append something, insert, from insert into internal table, work area. You'll see how we are going to do that. So whatever we are writing here, it's pretty simple. They have tried to make it very, I would say, user friendly kind of syntax. If and if, it's very easy. If something is happening, for example, here if I want to say that if this select option is not initial, so what I can mention here is if not, means if there is some value, then you throw this error message, something like that, again depending on your requirement. Perform something, go inside, select query, function module. I mean, whatever we are writing here, it's pretty simple English, not like C, C++ or some other language like Java, where in the code itself, I mean the first instance, it will be so complex while you are looking at it that you end up that just leaving it like that, and you won't feel like exploring it more. So for that you need good expertise in Java, maybe in or in .NET or whatever, depending on the language. But here anyone can understand, and that is why SAP is basically uh, kind of attraction to almost everyone nowadays. And then this is also, you can see a difference between the high level language and a low level language. So SAP is a high level, I mean ABAP is a high level language. High level language means in the front end you'll see a simple English. I mean, I'm not going into the technical details, but then just telling you based on my experience. So in the front end you'll see simple English, but in the back end these things will be converted into a C command. So basically the architecture would be, I mean the backend architecture is in VC++. So in the backend it will be converted into C++ commands, and then SAP will take it accordingly. But in the front end, that is why we call it no application server, and then in the backend lot of things will happen. So presentation in the backend will have application. So whatever is being converted into SAP, there actually we see the communication between kernel and the application server. So again, the kernel here is basically the skeleton of the of any particular language. So here the kernel would be again C++ or VC++, whatever you can say. In some of the function modules you will see that SAP is directly calling a C function. I mean, let's try to see. Mm. So yeah, this one. You see here, call this ID this. If you see something like this, which means this is going to be a C function directly, and then SAP is doing, basically SAP is trying to communicate with the kernel. Here if you double click, you won't see anything here because it's communicating with the kernel directly. So that is also one of the scenarios. So apart from this, I also wanted to make you familiar with two other things. I mean, the first thing would be, I mean, most of you would have heard about SAP TechEd. So SAP TechEd is basically a platform which is organized by SAP every year. In India, it happens in Bangalore. I think in China, it happens somewhere in Shanghai or maybe Hong Kong. I'm not sure. Again, I mean, it's like across the globe, worldwide, different locations. But India, it happens in Bangalore. So there are two ways of attending SAP TechEd. One is basically through corporate sponsorship, wherein your company would sponsor you. You travel to Bangalore and stay there for 3 days, and then you go through different presentations. So basically, TechEd is a platform wherein SAP utilizes to showcase its latest products and also some of the improvements which it's making in its existing product. What is the growth plan for SAP in, I mean, 10 years down the line or something like that. There would be few celebrities also coming in as a chief guest, and then obviously there will be some party, and then there will be sessions wherein you can attend and just get a feeling of advanced topics like HANA and a lot of things like this year and last year it was like complete HANA oriented. Some of you would have heard about HANA as well. So HANA is basically in-memory computing concept wherein they have designed a platform in which the data stays in the live cache or in the RAM or in the memory, due to which the communication between the processor and the database. So they have just removed the concept of buses here because everything lies in the live cache or memory, I mean runtime memory or RAM. So the data access timing is very fast. So HANA is a platform wherein it can be utilized for our ECC or our BI server, I mean our BI platform or big data, Hadoop, anything, any kind of data analytics, because the data access is very quick. So SAP TechEd, so that is one thing. So I mean you can explore about SAP TechEd more over the internet, but again you should be aware of the concept. It's not like if someone asks about or someone discusses about SAP TechEd and then you should not feel like an alien there. So basically it's and again I mean you can attend it on your own also. You need to pay some fee for it. I think some close to 20 to 25,000 for 3 days. They will provide food and everything. That is one thing. Now coming to second thing, uh, how the pricing happens in SAP. When I'm saying pricing, basically SAP how it's going to bill to their customers, which means if I'm buying a product called ECC, then how SAP is going to charge me for this product. So there are various ways of charging. So obviously SAP will utilize every way to mint the money from the customer, but again at the same time it also depends on how big the setup of the organization who is going to purchase the product. That is one. So SAP is a product, no doubt on that. Second, how many users are going to be there. Third, what all products you are buying. For example, you are going to buy a middleware and then you are going to buy an ECC 6 also, or you are going to buy ECC, SRM, CRM, middleware, PI. So it all depends on that. So based on your organization setup, based on your budget, SAP will create a customized package sometime. Obviously then it also depends on the number of users. But then for the first time when you buy the package, it will come for a fee. For example, let's say you buy a package of ECC, you buy that ECC product, and then you are paying some, let's say 3.5 lakhs or 4 lakhs, something like that. So by default it will come with 20 users license in along with the package, which means you can register 20 users against it, and then 20 users can use the product on a daily basis. If you want to increase the number of users, you have to register more users and you have to pay accordingly. That is one thing. Second thing, uh, let's say you are buying the middleware called PI, that is process integration. So in PI what happens, a lot of messages would flow between the middleware and your SAP platforms like ECC or SRM or CRM. So sometimes SAP would also charge on the basis of the number of messages flowing per hour or per day. So that could be one way of charging. Obviously everything can be customized by SAP because it's their product, so they can do that. Then we have other product called HCM. Obviously HCM is integrated to ECC only. But at some time people, I mean companies might have dedicated HCM server also. So let's say you have so many, I mean number of employees, I mean more than 1 lakh or 2 lakh worldwide. So it makes sense to have a separate HCM server. So HCM would communicate with ECC using different interfacing techniques like iDocs or RFCs, which we will be discussing later. So sometimes, or maybe most of the time, SAP would charge to you or the organization based on the number of employees for your HCM add-on. So that is another way of charging. So there are multiple ways of charging and pricing. So basically, once you contact SAP, a salesperson would be coming to you and he will be taking a lot of feedback, and accordingly, that guy would prepare, I mean, customized code to you, and obviously you can try to negotiate. So that is also, I mean, I would say kind of tip. You should be aware of it. Now coming to the technical part. See, what I what I'm trying to do here is, sometimes what happens, maybe through an interface, data is coming into SAP, and then it's calling a remote function module. Now, what you did, every time you cannot trigger that interface from, I mean, non-SAP location or system or whatever. So what you need to do here is, you go inside the function module in debugging mode, and then once, I mean by pressing F5, and once you are inside, what you need to do, save parameters as test data. Double click here and then give a name, maybe test data. Execute. Now if I hit F8 and I go to SE37, if I hit display here, sorry, no need to display, just hit execute, F8, test data directory. Now you can see that today at this time I saved test data. So this is very very important, because see, whatever I just provided the input in the program, same thing is saved here as a test data. Obviously you can change it and then make it 3, and then you can save it again, maybe something like this, and then you'll see two things here. So this is very similar to our variants in report. So the importance of this is that at real time problem scenario, every time you cannot trigger an interface from a non-SAP location, and you really don't want to do that, because once you have the control in SAP, it's very easy to debug. So like I debug the report today, we can also debug a function module. For example, this function module, I can select the test data and I can hit on debugging, and I can do F5, F6, F7, F8 here. Obviously I can put breakpoint, watch point, everything whatever we did in the report. So this is how we debug a function module, and this is how we save the test data in the function module test data directory at runtime. So this is done. We'll remove it from here. Now operations on internal table. Now what we will do, we'll create a fresh report. I'm going to SE80. This will also help you in terms of making a revision, that how we create a report and all. So with top include yes, because I want to declare something there. Okay. It should be an executable program. Internal. And now since we know the debugging concepts, it would be much easier to understand this, because every time we don't need to write the output. Earlier in the report, when we designed our classical and interactive one, we were writing the output every time. So now we can see the effects directly in the debugging mode. Activate. Now go to change mode. So top is okay, and then not this one, sorry, F01. These two things are mandatory for now. These two things are not required. I will be deleting it. These two things will come into picture when we are working on the dialog programming. So now it will say F01 does not exist. Okay. Double click here. Yes, I want to create it's an include program. Put it in the same package and transport. Activate. Come back. Save it. Now go to change mode. Now I'm going to discuss on the internal table operations. So to do this, what I am going to do, this time we are going to take our sales order header and item table. We are going to deal with that because we have done enough with MARA table. Now we'll be using our VBAK table. This is our header table, sales order header, and then the other table would be VBAP, that is sales order item. So we are going to deal with these tables now. So what I'm going to do here is I want to declare an internal table which would be used to fetch the data from VBAK. So instead of calling the whole structure, what I will do, I will just take couple of fields here. I'll create a structure at runtime that will be like types. Types begin of ty underscore VBAK. Here what I did a control Y. So then I'll get this plus symbol. I can select, using my cursor I can select anything using my mouse and cursor. So I just copy it from there. Type. There could be various ways of declaring an internal table, but this is the standard way and this is the best way. So no need to go with the other concepts because they are useless. And then you need to put a comma. You'll also see here that I'm trying to keep the indenting as same of every line, like types are in the same row of it, so it looks good actually. That's why I'm doing it. Similarly, begin of ty underscore VBAP, something like this. And if you are good in Excel, what you can do, you can copy this by using Control Y, go to Excel, and then by using the concatenate function in Excel, you can design this as a text there and copy paste here. That also you can do. And slowly, once you are good with the concepts, you can start experimenting those things. So what we did here, we declared an type structure of VBAK and VBAP. Now we are going to declare the internal table and work area. IT underscore VBAK, type table of TY underscore VBAK, WA underscore VBAK, type. Similarly, IT underscore VBAP, like this. So this completes my declaration. And you can see that I am not declaring any selection screen here. Now, if I am not declaring any selection screen, okay, initialization, we are not doing anything here as of now. Or what we can do, maybe refresh IT underscore VBAK so that there is no data left in the memory. IT underscore VBAP, clear WA underscore VBAK. Sometimes people will do it like this also, means refresh the body. You can do like this. So initialization is done. As of now there is no selection screen, so we will not talk about selection screen. Start of selection directly. What I am doing, perform fetch underscore header. Instead we'll make it fetch under unnecessary, no need to put so many subroutines here. Yes, put it in F01 like we did earlier. It will come here, and then instead of putting any criteria on the selection screen, what I'm going to do, I'm going to fetch the 100 records, first 100 sales orders. Oh, what is this? Select. So what we are going to select, I'll go to my top again, and I know from VBLN to VB type. So what I'll do, from VBLN to VB type, I'll copy from here. And from performance point of view, you have to know, you have to understand one thing here is the sequence of the fields in select criteria should match with the sequence of the fields in our table, and also the sequence of the fields in where clause should also match with the sequence of the fields in the table, so that the source and target would match, and then SAP will not make any mistake in terms of putting the data in a different target. We will discuss about it. For now, so select this from VBAK up to 100 rows into table. That's it. If Size sub RC is initial. So what we are going to do is we are going to sort IT underscore VBAK by Veblen. So by default it will sort it in ascending order. If I want to sort it in descending order, it will be like descending. I can do like this, but we will put it in ascending order. And then one more thing, if this operation is successful and then and not IT underscore VBAK is initial, which means this operation was successful and there is some data in IT underscore VBAK. Then I'm going to sort that, and then I'm going to join this with my VBAP, join this data with VBAP. But in SAP we are not going to write a direct join. I'll show you how to write it. I think it's there in my agenda. One second. Okay, joins, left outer and inner join will discuss. But what we are going to do now with the SAP standard way, we are going to use the concept of for all entries, which means it will do a, by default it will do a join with the previous table. So I'll show you how we are doing this. We have sorted it, which means, why we have sorted it, which means once it's going to hit the next table, it will be in the sorted mode and it will be helpful to the performance of the next table. I'll again go to my, so I can navigate by doing a double click here, and in VBAP what we have from Veblen to LFREL. Okay, select, from VBAP into the, so VBAP is my source, into IT underscore VBAP, this is my target. Now I'm writing for all entries in IT underscore VBAK, where Veblen equal to Veblen equal to IT underscore VBAK. So what I'm trying to tell the system here is that you want to select everything from VBAP, but then only for the sales orders, which means this, which are available in this. So this is how we represent, and this is most commonly used statement in SAP. You can keep on fetching the data from multiple tables one by one. So why we don't join multiple tables in one go? Because it impacts the performance. Now where Veblen equal to this. Now if size sub RC is initial and not IT underscore VAP, will mention like this, both are same, doesn't matter. Then sort IT underscore VBAP by VBELN, and then because we have two key fields here in VBAP, so we'll sort it by this. Normally we sort the table by the key field, and obviously it also depends on the requirement. POSNR is my line item number, so end if, this end if will close this if. Now this if will close, will be closed here. God. Now if I do a pretty printer, it will be indented accordingly. So it looks good now. This if is closed here, this if is closed here. into table. So we'll quickly finish all the operations because I need to get into a call. Okay. Now we are going to use the concept of breakpoint here because I don't want to do a slash h every time and then I don't want to see. Okay. When I'm executing it, I'll do F5 here. So IT underscore VBAK, I got 100 records. You can see 69, 70, 71, 7. So it's basically it's sorted by default. But then if the data is not sorted, I can do an F5. So it will be sorted. Anyway, it was sorted by default. What I will do, just for the sake of demo, let's sort it in descending mode. So now we know that if I hit F5, I'll get 100 records here. And if I hit next F5, it will come to my sort statement. Now I'll go here. And then if I hit my next F5, it will be sorted in reverse order. You can see it's not descending mode. And then we are going to fetch the data from VBAP. So if I do an F5 here, we have got all the records against those sales orders. You can see that each sales order is having multiple line items of 10, 20, 30, 40, something like this. This will vary. Here we have only 3, here we have 4, so it all depends. So this is how we retrieve the data at runtime. And then if I do an F5, so it's again sorted. Anyway, it was sorted by default, but then it's sorted based on the order and item number both. So this completes my okay. So very first operation, that is sorting. So sorting is done. Now I want to read. So now you know that this internal table is having some 357 records, and then you want to read the 10th record of this internal table. So what you can do, so here we have work area. One more thing concept we are going to bring here is field symbols. Field symbols are going to be placeholders for any kind of data. So this will be declared like this: fs underscore VBAP type, just like we have declared our work area VBAP. Now we know that there is some data in IT VBAP, so read table IT underscore VBAP into W underscore VBAP index 10. So what it will do, it will go and pull the 10th record and put it in the work area. Similarly, read table IT underscore VBAP assigning the field symbol index 10. Now let's see what happens. So here you can see that my sales orders are sorted in ascending mode because here I didn't give any input while in sort statement. So it will by default it will take ascending. So otherwise IT VBAK was in descending mode. Now what I'm doing here is I'm going to read the 10th record F5. So my 10th record came here. See 40 M04 M04 sunny extreme like this. Now if I do an F5 here, so my field symbol would also be assigned, it will be having the same data. So the importance of field symbol will discuss again. Now what I will do for the sake of each, will remove this breakpoint from here and put it here. So till now we have done sort and we have done read. Now we will be using the where clause in read statement. So I'll execute this and let's catch. So I want to read a data where the VBLN is 4973 and Posner is 20. So you can clear your work area and then read table IT underscore VBAP into W underscore VBAP where VBELN equal to, sorry, we have to use with key. So with key WebLN equal to this, Posner equal to if I execute this now, you can see size of RC is 0. This work area would have Posner 20. This is this. So this is one way of doing it. Now sometimes what would happen that we have so many records in our internal table, let's say lakhs of records. So we have the concept, so obviously not for less than 500. So we have a concept called binary search. So binary search is basically something like we have our normal Oxford dictionaries, wherein with the help of some keys you can go and try to make your search faster. It's very similar to that what happens here. So we have some 357 record. In case of binary search, system will divide this into half. So it means like 175 and then 175. So it will make two sets and start searching the combination. And then if the combination is not found in one set, it will simply skip that set. It will again go to the next set, and then it will make further two sets there. Something like we have in dictionary. So this basically helps us to improve the performance of our read statement. So we'll get the same thing, but it will be quicker. So but you can observe that when you are having so many records. So this is the concept of binary search. So basically read index system tab X. Okay. Now we'll go with tab X concept. So tab X is basically the positioning of a particular row in an internal table. For example, what I'm doing here is loop at IT underscore VBAP into WA underscore VBAP, something like this. So what I'm going to do here is I want system to exit after reading the second record. So what I'll do here, if site tab X equal to 2, write, so you have to write the value of site tab X exit. So exit means it will not do any process further, it will simply come out of this loop. Yes, of course. And if one more thing, I can comment this, it's not required anymore. So now you can see that I am going in this loop, site ABAP age 1. So basically it's reading the first record. So it did nothing. It will go to the next record. Now it got site ABAP age 2. It will write the value of site ABAP and it will exit from this loop. And then we came out of the loop. If I hit F8, it will give me this. So this is how we control our loop operations. So we not necessarily need to go via a complete loop. Sometime our operation can be completed early also. So by using some condition, we can exit. Similarly, we have our continue statement. So you can see that it will keep on resuming the operation. So basically it won't break here. So it's like that. So we have continue here, we have exit. Now there could be a scenario wherein I want to know that how many records are available in my internal table. For that, I'll go to my top statement. I'll describe a variable called data data v underscore length type I. So basically it's an integer, which means it won't have any decimal value. So for the syntax it's describe table it underscore vbap lines v underscore length, and then if size sub rc is initial, write so this will describe the table, internal table, and then it will write how many records are there. So we already know that there are 357 records or something. Got 357. It will write and come out 357. So this is one of the things you can use. Offset. Okay. Now I'm going to debugging mode again and I'll show you something. You have to understand that by default the date on the system would be in YYYYMM format. Sometime you might need to extract the year from the date, sometime month from the date, sometime date from the date, complete date. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to declare three variables. V underscore year type I, V underscore date type I, V underscore month type I. So as I showed you, the date would be in YYYYMMDD format. So what I'm going to do here is V underscore year equal to datum plus means you start from the beginning and read the first four characters. So it will capture my year. V underscore month equal to datum plus. So till 4 it's year, then 4, and then next 2 would be my month. V underscore date equal to side datum plus. So 4 to 6, till 6 it's my month and year. After 6 basically it's date. And then write V underscore year, V underscore month. So this is the concept of target and source. So we are moving the value from source to target. Target will be on the left hand side, source on the right hand side. Execute. You can see what is happening now. We got the year, we got the month, we got the date, and we are writing it F8. So we got here. So this is something, the concept of offset. It will be very helpful to you. Exit from the loop, continue, we are done. We'll delete it so that now insert, delete, append, modify, transporting. Okay. So we'll cover this in next 5 to 10 minutes quickly. First we'll cover this delete adjacent duplicates. The concept of delete adjacent duplicate is basically to delete the duplicate records from an internal table comparing a particular field. Now I know that in my VBAP internal table we already have the combination of VBELN and then POSNR. So what I'm doing here is delete adjacent duplicates from IT underscore VBAP comparing VBELN POSNR, and then I'm doing a shift window D comparing. So I'll show you the difference. It's very, as I said earlier, it's very simple English. And then obviously whenever you write something, SAP will propose the help. You can hit the tab button and then the syntax will be called there. Let's go in the debugging mode. So IT underscore VBAP, if I talk about comparing this and then this, then this record is going to be unique. If I talk about this and this combination, then it's unique. So I am going to this statement now. So deleting it, trying to delete the duplicates based on VBELN and POSNR. So technically there are no duplicate records with these two combinations because these two combinations make it unique, and that is why we have two key fields here. So if I do an F5 here, if I execute my statement, you can see that no records were deleted and then size of RC became 4. But if I execute my next statement comparing only VBLN, then obviously there would be duplicates because now I am not taking this in picture. So only talking about this, so obviously there are duplicate records. So if I do an F5 here, you can see I have got 100 records just like IT VBAK, which is this. I have only one key field here, so I got only 100 records at runtime. It's not considering my POSNR now, and then size of RC is 0. One more thing, at runtime you can select any column, drag and drop to a different position. That is also a quick thing you can. So this is the concept of deleting duplicates at runtime. We know now this. Now okay, insert delete. Let's say I want to delete the 10th record of my internal table. So delete IT underscore VBAP index this. If I do an F5 here, it's gone. You can see that. So this is one thing you can, based on the index, you can delete. Now what I am going to do here is, I know that in my WA underscore VBELN we have lot of things, but I know one thing is there, that we have WebLAN and then Posner. So WA underscore VBAP hyphen VBELN. What I'm trying to do here is something like this. So this is my target, this is my source, and then now we are writing three things here. Append WA underscore VBAP to IT underscore VBAP. Let's see what happens now. So we have this, we have this. If I do an append to an internal table, so it will always be appended at the end. So we have 358 records. If I go to the end, I'll see my record here. So this is how you append the data in an internal table. Append means it will always be inserted at the end. The next would be, so append is done, okay. Insert. Insert WA underscore VBAP to IT underscore VBAP. Something like this. So I want to insert this record as at 11th place. So you can see 11th record is this now. So this is the concept of insert, but what if I don't put an index here? Then insert will behave just as append. So we got a short dump, which means insert work area to internal table should not be without an index. So we don't know that where exactly the cursor should go. No valid cursor exists. So okay. So you know insert, you know append. Now we'll talk about delete. Delete IT underscore VBAP index 10. So the 10th record will be deleted. Oh, sorry, I skipped it. What I'll do, I'll go back again. So M0510, it's gone, you can see. So this is the concept of deleting, append, modify. Okay, now we'll come to modify. Similarly, you can delete it from index 1 to index 10, something like that, index 10 to, you can delete from 10 to 15. You can just try it out. Now index append, okay, transporting, modify. Now what I'm doing here is I'm putting a loop. If site-abx equal to 2, then WA underscore VBAP hyphen MATNR, sorry, VBELN equal to Adi, and then What I am telling the system here is that you modify. Let's comment this. Yeah, what you do, you just modify the value of VBLN to Adi for the second record, and then modify the same in my internal table also. Modify IT underscore VBAP, that is my internal table from WA underscore VBAP. Transporting, so which means by transporting this I am telling the system that you have to modify the value of only VBLN. So this will help me in terms of performance, so system won't go and compare each and every field. So let's see what is happening here now. Execute this. So site ABAP is this, WAVBAP hyphen VBELN equal to this. Now it will be changed to Adi, and then in the internal table also it should be modified. So you can see it's modified now. So this is how we modify the internal table, and it will exit, so this is good. So this is how we modify the contents of an internal table using work area. But then there is another way of doing this. What I'll do, comment this. I am doing assigning fs underscore VBAP. If site ABAP is equal to 2, now let's see what happens. So we are putting the data in a field symbol. So what system actually does here is, if I modify the value of this to this, so then the contents would automatically be modified. See, so I don't need to use a modify statement exclusively. So this is the better approach when you want to modify the data at runtime. So instead of using a work area, you can use a field symbol. So no need to write an additional modify statement, because this consumes a lot of performance. So you know, I think almost everything now. Insert, delete, append, modify. So these are some of the operations which we can do on internal table. We will work on more operations as and when we get a chance. So I think we are good for today, and then I'll come back again by tomorrow. Tomorrow we will try to do some of the operations on string. Operations on string we'll try to do tomorrow. So this I can delete now. So thanks everyone. You can just try to play around this, and then we'll catch up again tomorrow. Thank you and bye.